What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be talking about 3 tips for wide receivers in high school to get offers this season. So we're going to be talking about 3 specific things that wide receivers can do to stand out to college coaches on film when they come to actually scout you, and what you guys can do to get noticed. So I hope this video gives you guys some value, and it teaches you a few new things just about the receiver position and what you guys can do to ultimately get recruited. But also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you want to learn how you can improve your route running in only 2 weeks, and you want to learn 20 new press releases, check out that very first link in the description, fellas, for our route running Bible. What you'll get access to is a 2-week-long on-field wide receiver training schedule on how to improve your route running in 10 days. It's 10 days of specific drills with sets and repetitions to get your game better. And we include, for no charge at all, our 20 press release video, 48-minute long video where we break down 20 press releases, when to use each one against a specific DB, and drills for each one. So I hope you guys could check that out. Very first link in the description for our route running Bible. Let's get started. So first thing I want to talk about here is when you're a receiver and maybe you're not the quickest guy on the field, because at the college level, right, everybody's going to be a great athlete. So what college coaches are looking for, like maybe let's say you're getting recruited in your area, right? And there are 2 specific receivers that this school's looking at. It's you and another guy, right? And you guys are about the same. You guys are about the same skill level. They're going to go with the guy who could probably create the most separation. If the grades are the same, obviously, you guys are the same physical attributes, because what at the next level, these 2 positions right here, DB and wide receiver, everybody on the field is fast. Everybody on the field is a good athlete. And here's the thing, like in high school, you might run a 4.6 40. In college, that really ain't that fast. You know what I mean? Like everybody's going to be running a 4.6 40, right? The guys who run a 4.4, maybe some guys who run like a low 4.5, something like that. Those are the burners on the field. Those are the guys who can really create separation. But those guys who run 4.6s and 4.7s, they might be fast at the high school level, but at the college level, you're just average. So you can't rely solely on your speed to get open like a lot of people do in high school. So what they're going to be looking for is, can you create separation at the top of the break? So we're going to look at this rider from Sterling Shepard. So he's running a slant out route. So what they're going to be looking for at the next level is, can you sell your routes, be able to get this DB to commit his hips with your body language, with your stride, not even necessarily your speed, but can you get him to commit, and can you eliminate as much time as possible at the top of the break? They talk a lot about it. College coaches are looking for guys who could be smooth in and out of the break. Nick Saban talks a lot about it. And there's that, obviously Alabama, one of the best schools for a wide receiver to attend. And he talks all the time about how smooth guys can get in and out of breaks. Can he get in and out of breaks fast? Can he create energy at the top? Can he accelerate out? That's what they're looking for. So Sterling Shepard does such a great job of showing this example. Eyes going back to the quarterback, hips and shoulders committed to the break. There's no way this DB doesn't think that you're running a slant, right? He will not think that you're running a slant if your stride gets choppy, if your shoulders and your hips are drifting to the outside, if your eyes are looking straight down, then he's going to sit to the outside because he knows you're not getting the ball. A, because you're not looking at it, but B, you're not committed to the break. So if I can commit to the break, that allows me to create separation at the top of this thing. And now if you can have that violent change of direction, so many receivers don't get this, especially at the high school level. They'll run into the break and they start to beat the drum. They start to slow their feet down, and they have this real lazy change of direction that will not get you separation, fellas. To stand out on film, to really stand out with your route running, maybe you're at a camp, maybe this coach is seeing you with his own eyes, you got to have this violent change of direction. So I guess that's the first tip I want to tell you guys, is to be able to play at that next level, to be able to stand out to college coaches. With your route running, you got to be able to have that violent change of direction. You got to be able to drop your hips. You got to make sudden cuts. You got to have great pad level coming into the break, because all this does is create energy, right? Obviously, it helps you slow down, but you're putting your body into an explosive position to where you could create energy and obviously accelerate to this spot. If you can accelerate out to that spot, really pump your arms and rip, you're going to be able to create separation a lot easier. And no matter what your speed is, you'll still be able to get open, right? Especially if you're a bigger guy, maybe not the most athletic guy on the field at all times. Watch this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by Shepard selling the route, being able to break this thing off violently and accelerate out. So first tip to make sure that you get offers when it comes down to route running, to stand out to coaches, you got to be violent with your movements, whether it's off the line or whether it's at the top of the break. So now we're going to be looking at this double move here. It's going to be a hitch and go route, okay? So this is the second tip that I think I could tell you guys, is you got to be a salesman with your routes, and you can't over-exaggerate moves. So let's watch this thing full speed. So he's going to be running just this little hitch and go where he makes this little stick to the inside, and he's able to create separation. So many receivers, when they're trying to sell a route, they'll be so exaggerate. They'll over-exaggerate every single movement that they do. They'll make a break, and they'll reach out for the cutter. They'll reach out and drag their back foot. This is a perfect example of how your upper half sells the route, not your feet. So that's the second tip, fellas. Don't over-exaggerate your movements to the point where you don't have any explosion and don't have any speed, because you're not going to look like a route runner who's intelligent and who moves efficiently, and that's what you need to be able to do to play at that next level, especially the Division I level, right? So now when he drops his hips, you see how it's just a sudden drop, right? Very similar to what we were talking about before in the first clip. Every movement is violent. Everything that you do is violent, and it serves a purpose, right? We're trying to force this DB to react. Now, when he works this little hitch and go. So he makes just one step to the inside. He's not overreaching. He's not over-exaggerating with that inside foot. You guys probably all saw that video. We posted a little bit, maybe about 2 days ago, where that, I think that DB from the Broncos, his name's slipping me, but he's a rookie, right? And he guarded that like sluggo route, and that receiver made that really over-exaggerated cut, right? That's just an indicator to this DB. This DB is where's he supposed to be watching, like we talked about, is your hips. So to be a salesman on your routes and to make sure that you get separation, it's with your upper half. Like if you're running a post route, that break point, you're given that violent upper half fake at the break. You're not reaching out with your outside foot to try to really like force the DB to go to that direction. He ain't going to be looking at your feet. Your feet have to be sudden, right off the line. They got to be outside of his frame, but it's your upper half that sells. And you see how much his shoulders, how much his hips commit back to the inside. That is what will get a DB to jump. It's not going to come from your feet. It's not going to be giving him this lame little head fake and shoulder fake that a lot of people do. Your body sells the route, right? So you got to make sure that you sell. You got to make sure when you do that, you still keep that weight distributed on the inside part of your foot so you could get some explosion and burst out. But you see, if I could just get a little bit of separation, right? Especially at the college level, fellas, because again, not everybody's going to play Division I ball, but a lot of you, your goal is just to get your education paid for, right? And these specific things right here are what can stand out on film for a coach to ultimately take a chance on you and to excel at that next level, especially if it's a lower level of college football. Something so subtle like this can get you so much separation and can get you open, right? So these are some of the things you need to focus on if you're going to be a receiver. The devil's in the details. You got to pull those little aspects of the game that you see in all the best receivers, all the guys in the league, some of the best top guys in college. What are they doing and how can I apply that to my game? Every receiver is different. Every receiver plays in a different offense, but how can I apply what they're doing to my own game and make it my own way? And being a salesman with your upper half, not reaching with your lower half, is how you guys can do that. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by dropping his hips, being sudden with his feet, selling with that upper half so he can get separation and ultimately accelerate back up top. All right, fellas, so if you guys need to get bigger and need to get stronger and you want a good pre-workout or protein powder supplement, check out that second link in the description for A&G Labs Pre-Dominance or Pro Dominance. So if you use the promo code FIRST15 for 15% off your first order, you guys will get obviously 50% off the order and get a chance to try out some great supplements, right? So they have a new pre-workout, they have a new protein powder that you guys can check out specifically for athletes. And I'm on both of these products, fellas, and this is probably, honestly, like I'm not even playing anymore, and this is probably the strongest I've felt, best in shape that I've been, right? So I really enjoy their supplements. I think they're great. So check out that second link in the description below, fellas, for pre-dominance or pro dominance. If you guys need to get stronger or bigger, let's get back to this video. So now, last tip I want to talk about is you got to have some kind of football IQ as a wide receiver to play at that next level. So we're looking at this route from Justin Jefferson, right? Now, he's backside. He doesn't even get this route, but it's still setting up certain things that you're going to be, this sets up certain things that you're going to be doing throughout the game when the ball is coming to you, right? So now let's watch it full speed. So you see how this DB's in like kind of off coverage here. So Jefferson runs an out route with an inside release, right? So when you run an out route with an inside release, usually it's because this DB is what? He's taking away the outside, right? So I don't ever want to force a release. This is something that you'll learn at the next level, especially like if you play at a high level of college football. This guy's going to be talented. DB's going to be talented. He's going to have some kind of skill to him if he's starting, right? He's probably the best guy on his high school team, so that's why he's playing at the next level, right? So if I don't understand like how to force him to make a decision or take what he gives me, I'm not going to be able to get open, right? Because imagine if Jefferson runs this 10-yard out, and you get so many coaches, like, and I've talked about this before in the past, you must take an outside release on an outside breaking route, right? A comeback, maybe there's an exception, right? But if you're running a speed out, like a 10-yard out, you can take an inside or you can take an outside release. Because if this DB is lined up here, and let's say Jefferson forces the outside release, DB will get right into his inside hip, will force him to the sideline, and he will have about a yard to make this break. And a quarterback will not throw a 10-yard out when you are a yard away from the sideline. That's a pick. That's 6 points going the opposite way because there's no room for you to accelerate out, and there's no room for him to lead you. So as a receiver, I got to make sure that I do my job and stay on the path that I started at so the quarterback actually has some space to throw me open and I can accelerate out and widen the distance from the DB. That's the whole point of the release, fellas. Keep timing, but also keep the same path that you're on. So you see how Jefferson, he does a great job of off the line. We're in this kind of catch technique where there's some space. We got to be closing the distance. I'm trying to close the distance, get a read on this DB, and take the inside release. Now, what should we be working to do here? You should be working to restack to get back over the top. So as a wide receiver, you got to have that football IQ that, okay, he's taking away the outside. All right, I'll just take the inside release. He's taking away the inside. Fine, I'll keep him honest to the inside, take the outside release, separation, do the best I can to do exactly what Jefferson's doing right now and restack. Because when you can restack, you could get a lot of separation. So how you get to that restack point, do not force an inside and do not force an outside release. Trust yourself, trust your moves at the top of the route to be able to get as much separation as possible. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great job closing the distance, great job restacking, and then obviously throwing that rocker step. Make sure, fellas, to be able to play at that next level, you got to have some kind of football IQ and high wide receiver intelligence when it comes to reading a DB. All right, guys, really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to leave those in the comments below. I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Always appreciate the feedback and the things you guys have to say. Helps me come up with new ideas for videos, so I really appreciate it, guys. And also, fellas, Route Running Bible, over an hour and a half's worth of specific content on how to improve your route running in 10 days at a buy one, get one free value, and you get a 48-minute long video on 20 press releases, when to use it, and then drills to work on each one. I hope you guys could check that out. Very first link in the description if you want to take your route running to that next level. I'll see you guys next time.